نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Respected viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In continuation of our Quranic understanding program, today we shall try to read and learn few more verses from Surah Al-Nisa, chapter 4, starting from verse number 113, verse number 113. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Walawla fadlullahi alayka. O Messenger, peace be upon him, if there would not have been the favor of Allah upon you, wa rahmatu, and his mercy, lahammat ta'ifatu minhu, a group amongst them, that a group amongst the hypocrites, had resolved, or they were determined, and yudilluka, to mislead you through that case. Wama yudilluna illa anfusahum, but they can mislead none except their own selves. Wama yadurunaka min shay'in, they cannot harm you in any way, O Messenger, peace be upon him. Wa anzalallahu alayka al-kitab, and Allah has sent down this book to you, wal hikmah, and wisdom, wa allamaka, and he made known to you, ma lam takun ta'lam, which you didn't know. Wa kana fadlullahi alayka azima, and upon you is great favor and bounty of Allah, O Messenger, peace be upon him. La khayra fi kathir min najwahum. No good is there in their whispering campaign or private conversations. Illa man amara bisadqa, except if someone enjoins charity, aw marufan, or some good deed, aw islahim bainan nas, or conciliation between people. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ, and whoever does it, ibtiga mardatillah, only to seek pleasure of Allah or his approval, فَسَوْفَ نُؤْتِيهِ, surely we shall grant him ajran azima, a great reward. وَمَنْ يُشَاكِكَ الرَّسُولَ, and whoever opposes the Messenger, peace be upon him, min ba'di, or even after ma tabayyana lahu al-huda, that path of guidance has become clear to him, وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and adopts the path other than the path of the believers, نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى, we shall give him what he has taken. وَنُسْلِهِ جَهَنَّمْ, but later we shall drive him to hell. وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا, where is the bad destination, the worst destination. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ, surely Allah doesn't forgive. And yushraka bi, that if partners are associated with him, وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ, he may forgive anything other than, any sin other than that. لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ, whom he wills. وَمَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ, and who associates partners with Allah, فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا, he has gone too far in the path of error. Sadaqallahul Azim. These verses, as we can feel from translation, are connected with that episode or that story which we talked last time. Apparently pretending Muslim, a hypocrite, when he stole some other Muslim brothers some bag and baggage containing some eatables and some weapons and armaments also, then try to put blame on another person, including a Jew. But how Allah guided Prophet, peace be upon him, as he used to guide him always through revelations and all the evidences that Prophet's judgment was the best judgment, and the verdict was passed against that so-called Muslim and in favor of a Jew who was declared to be innocent and released and of all these blames. That is justice. In these verses, you can understand from the wordings. Quran says, وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ وَرَحْمَتُهُ, O Messenger, had there not been Allah's favors upon you and His mercy, لَحَمَّتْ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ, a party amongst them, That means these hypocrites and his associates, apart amongst them, had resolved, and they were determined, and you did look out to mislead you, because they tried to prove all the evidences that theft was made by that Jew, not by this person who pretended to be a believer. They used all their arguments, all circumstantial and other evidences. And, O Messenger, they tried to mislead you. They tried to derive a wrong judgment from you, so they would deliver a wrong message based on injustice. But Allah was with you. How could they mislead? They misled none but their own selves. This is it. وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ وَرَحْمَتُهُ. If Allah's favors would not have been upon you, وَرَحْمَتُ and His mercies, لَحَمَّتْ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُ. A party amongst them had resolved, or they were determined, and they looked to mislead you, O Messenger, peace be upon him. But وَمَا يُضِلُّونَ, but they mislead none, إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ, except their own selves. They mislead none except their own selves. وَمَا يَدْرُونَكَ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. They cannot harm you in any way. They were not in a position to harm, though they tried to harm you. They wanted to derive a wrong judgment from you. That didn't happen. That was not going to happen. وَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ. As you are the messenger, Allah sends down this book, these commandments, these instructions, their teachings Allah sends, wal hikmah, and He has granted you all the wisdom. According to that wisdom, you decide cases based on total, unbiased justice. Allah sent down this book to you, wal hikmah, and granted you, O Messenger, the best and great wisdom. وَعَلَّمَكَ مَا لَمْ تَكُنْ تَعْلَمْ, and He made you to learn what you knew not. That it is general. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants knowledge, revelation to a prophet whom He chooses as a prophet, especially the last one, through it He has granted wisdom, He has granted knowledge. That knowledge which He didn't know before, because He made embodiment of knowledge. A prophet becomes a fountainhead of knowledge, because through him knowledge has spread to whole ummah, whole community, or whole world, as through last prophet. It is in general context. وَعَلَّمَكَ مَا لَمْ تَكُنْ تَعْلَمْ. And O Muhammad, peace be upon him, He gave you knowledge, He taught you what you didn't know. It is in general context. Prophets are given the knowledge which they didn't possess before attaining prophethood, or they are granted knowledge which no other person can ever imagine to get. And the role of the messenger is to convey this knowledge to others, to guide them based on that knowledge, through that knowledge. That's the general context. But in a specific context, وَعَلَّمَكَ مَا لَمْ تَكُنْ تَعْلَمْ means Allah made you to know what you didn't know. That means you didn't know who was the real thief, who was the real culprit, who had stolen, who was thief and who had stolen that belongings of other person. But Allah made this thing known to you through His revelations, through the knowledge which has been bestowed upon you. وَكَانَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ عَظِيمًا. And O Messenger, peace be upon him, there's a great favor of Allah upon you. That favor is the revelations which you are receiving. لَا خَيْرَ فِي كَثِيرٍ مِّن نَجْوَاهُمْ. No good is there in their private conversations they make. That means these hypocrites, as is practiced with them, openly they pretend to be believers, and they show their affiliation with other Muslims and with Prophet, peace be upon him, and the religion of Islam. But in their private conversations, they plot and plan against Islam. They make such evil planning against faith. It is said about that, La khayra fi kathirin min najwahum. No good is there in those private conversations or their whispering campaign they have started against Islam. There's no good for them. This will finish them off. This is going to destroy them in the long run. There's no good is there for them in these private conversations, and in this whispering campaign they are doing secret plannings. I hope you know, we have learned from Quran, that Quran says that Allah doesn't approve secret planning, as is generally the characteristic feature of hypocrites. They plan just in secret, during nights, and when they are alone with their own friends and with their devilish masters, they plan. That's why Quran said planning secretly is not good. It's not a good practice. But Quran says it's not good. But if such planning is done for a good cause, there's no sin in that. But that's encouraged. That's what's explained here too. La khair fi kathrin min najwahum. No good is there for them in their secret plannings, in their private conversations, in their advertising campaign they are making. Yes, of course. Now, but believers, don't think this if you plan something in secret is always bad, is always wrong. No. Illa man amara bi sadaqa. If some sincere believers secretly sit together and then make good plannings. Okay, see, let us try to locate, let's try to find out, let's collect data. How many poor are in our society? How can we help them secretly? Let us make a list of them, and let us not tarnish that their honor is not at stake and their respect. Let's help them. If we make secret planning like this for a good cause, for charities, for helping others, there's no wrong in it. That's what Quran says. Illa man amara bis. There's no good in secret planning. But if some secret planning is illa man amara bis sadaqa, except one who enjoins sadaqa. That means if some people together sit with their heads down during nights secretly, but they plan what? Plan good about charities. As I told you in modern terminology, they sit together and then plan how to help poor. What can we do? How can we collect funds from ourselves? And how can we help poor girls to get married? How can we work for the upliftment of downtrodden and orphans? How to take care of them? How to make some good works, public utility works? That's good. That's good. There's nothing bad in it. Illa man amara bi sadaqa, except one who enjoins sadaqah, charities. Aw marufin, or if somebody plans some good works like that, some good works are being planned, there's no problem. Aw islahim bainan nas, or conciliation between the people. That means if there's some kind of discord, some disunity appears. So within the Muslim community, there are some tensions that can arise, that have arisen, that can arise in time. Some problems, some misunderstandings. If there are some good people who sit down with their heads down and then think how to make conciliatory efforts, how to remove these tensions, how to remove these misunderstandings from the minds of the people, how to erase them, and they make concerted effort. They plan things, how to meet first one group of people and make them understand the effectiveness or validity of unity, how to be together, and then meet other people and then make them understand that unity is the best way. And let's forget if there are any misunderstandings. If such plans are made for our Islam bainan nas, for making conciliatory efforts amongst the people to unify people, there's nothing bad. If such plans are made secretly during nights or in private conversations, that's okay. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ. That's why there's a good news, glad tidings for such people. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. Whoever does it only to seek approval of God, a pleasure of Allah, he does these good deeds, whether for charity purposes or some good works or conciliation between the people. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ, whoever does it for seeking approval and pleasure of Allah, only for those people who plan it secretly, they have no selfish interests. They're self-interest. They're selfless people. They have to be selfless. They do it just for the sake of Allah. They make these efforts just to get pleasure of Allah, just to expect or hope acceptance from Allah and His rewards. That's okay. Whoever does it, just seek pleasure and approve of Allah. Yes, surely we shall give him a great reward from ourselves. Even if when these things are done or worked out in secret planning, but for the betterment, for better cause, for healthy causes. And whoever opposes the messenger, peace be upon him, even after the path of guidance has become clear to him. It is again about this hypocrite, because the hypocrites used to pose themselves as the part and parcel of Muslim Ummah. They used to come in Masjid Nabwi in congregation prayers. They used to join other community members, Muslims, where they used to listen to the sermons of the Prophet. So they knew it. They understood the path of guidance. Despite that, their actual planning was they were working as moles, as agents of their devils or their disbelieving masters. So they knew it. It's about that. Whoever opposes the messenger, peace be upon him, even after the guidance had become clear to him, and adopts the path of that path other than the path of the believers. That means they don't fall in line. They don't join others, sincere believers. They try to carve out a middle path. The middle path is, as Quran puts it, not there, nor here. They are only opportunists. They only see where from they have to gain. If they find some gain, some benefit by pretending to be Muslim, they'll express their faith. Yes, we are with you. But if they feel no, some gain is to be, benefit can be obtained from devils, from their disbelieving masters, whether Jews from Jewish community or the pagan Arabs, they will turn towards them. So they keep their options open. And they try to adopt a path other than believers, path of believers. Whoever opposes the messenger, peace be upon him, even after path of guidance had become clear to him, and adopts a path other than the path of believers, we give him what he has taken. That means they want to take some benefits. A war was sometimes expected, and these hypocrites thought that the opposite forces are weak. They cannot withstand the pressure of the believing forces. They would gladly join and say, yes, we also want to join the war, simply to get that war spoils, that mali ganima, some wealth, some worldly gains. But when they would feel, they were asked to come on, join the Muslim rank and file. You have to fight against a strong army, thinking that the army is too strong. We may be killed. There's nothing to gain from it. They will offer lame excuses, stay behind. That was the policy of because they were not Muslims. They were worse than disbelievers. Their hearts were full of jealousy, enmity, and hatred against Prophet and faith, peace be upon him. And number two, they were cheats. By their verbal declaration, they always try to cheat and deceive Allah and Messenger, peace be upon him, and the believers. As Quran says, يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَمَا يَقْدُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسُهُمْ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They try to cheat God. They try to deceive the believers. But the fact is, they deceive none except their own selves. وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ. But they perceive it not. But our gains they may get, okay, let them. But at the end of the day, there will be nothing for them but fire and humiliating punishment. That's what Quran explains. If they adopt the path other than the path of the believers, we'll give him what they have taken. But at the end of the day, will drive them to fire. وَالسَّاءَتْ مَصِيرًا, which is the worst destination they have to face. Then, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ, surely Allah doesn't forgive. And yushraka bihi, to associate partners with him. The same verse, we have studied a few days back. There it has been explained. As I told you just briefly, that there are two kinds of sins. One is major sins, other minor sins. Major sins, what we call kabira, grave sins, great sins, and major sins. Kabira means small sins or minor sins. And according to those norms, as Quran explains, and Prophet, peace be upon him, explained thoroughly, the gravest sin, the greatest sin, as what we call akbarul kabair, greatest sin among all the great sins, is shirk, that means associating partners with God. As he has none, he doesn't need any partner. That is in Allah, and that is unpardonable sin, unforgivable sin. Then again I told you that it is unforgivable sin, it is. But for whom? For the person who dies in disbelief, who dies in the state of shirk. But in this life, when he's alive, any person is alive, even shirk can be forgiven, as it is. You see these companions of the Prophet who embraced Islam. What was Khalid bin Walid before he embraced it? Wasn't he practicing mushrik? Because he used to worship idols and associate partners with God. What about Ikrimah, son of Abu Jahl? And what about that, Umar and others? Why not they associating partners with God? But in this lifetime, any sin, once a person abandons that path and declares with his tongue and then testifies it, confirms with his heart, that Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah, I bear witness, there is none is worthy of worship except one God. Wa ashhadu, and I bear witness, Anna Muhammadan, that surely Muhammad is Abdu, his servant, Allah's servant, wa Rasulullah, and his messenger, and the final messenger. That's not, he enters a new course of life. His slate of mind is clean, account book clear, all previous sins erased, as if he had not committed any sin, including shirk, that's washed away. Even today, in today's world, don't you hear news on your news channels, in your newspapers, that people accept, and Islam still, despite all the odds, Muslims are fighting against Islam being the fastest growing religion in the world. And those people who associate partners with God, and they accept Islam, they cannot be blamed that yesterday you were associating partners, that your shirk cannot be condoned, that cannot be forgiven. No, in this world, any sin, including shirk, is forgiven. But what Quran means it, in Allah la yaghfiru shirk, a person who dies in such kind of disbelief, while associating partners with God, worshipping anyone, anything other than God, whether sun or moon, whether some saints and righteous people, he makes them equal to God and start seeking help from them. Whereas on the one hand, a true believer has to always believe, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Oh Allah, I worship you alone because there is none worthy of worship except you. Wa iyaka nasta'in, I seek your help. We only seek help from you because there is nobody who can help us. You are Lord and you are Creator. You are giver and you are the taker. So a person who, even if he commits shirk in this world, but when he comes out of that, adopts the path of Tawheed, believes in one God, in all the messengers, including the last one, all his account book, it is cleaned of all the previous bad deeds, nothing doing, no accountability on those previous sins, because he starts a fresh life. So that's to be considered. Otherwise, if a person dies in a state of disbelief, association partners, that's an unforgivable sin. About the rest of the sin, maybe Allah takes a sympathetic consideration about other sins, but not shirk. Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi. So Allah doesn't forgive, and is not going to forgive associating with him anyone, anything, any partner. وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ. He may forgive. What's other than that? Liman yasha, whom he wills. That means whom he wills means because it is according to the perfect knowledge of Allah and according to the norms of wisdom and norms of justice set by Allah himself. He may forgive. Only he knows who deserves forgiveness and who doesn't. It's only his knowledge, his wisdom, his justice. And that's beyond an understanding of human beings. We cannot determine that. وَمَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ, and whoever associates partners with Allah, فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا, he has certainly gone too far away on the path of error. There's nothing beyond shirk, no sin beyond, no sin greater or bigger than associating partner with God. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم والحمد لله رب العالمين.